Whether you're a lifelong horror hound or a new convert to the joys of the genre, it's a good time to be a horror fan. Recent years have had something for everyone, and 2019 is showing no signs of letting us down yet. Here are the best horror films of the year so far. Midsommar follows Danny, a young girl tagging along with her boyfriend and his friends to a remote Swedish village as it prepares for a rare midsummer festival. As you might expect, things escalate from there. Midsommar isn't just horrifying. While there are some standard horror elements thrown in, the bulk of what makes the movie frightening is also what it has in common with Hereditary. It's about guilt and grief and loss, and the entire film feels raw and unnerving. This tale of a family encountering their own crazed, murderous doubles is even more layered and complex in its themes than Jordan Peele's previous Get Out, and decidedly more ambitious. It's intense, deeply original, and scary as heck. Us proves that Jordan Peele's position as one of the most important creative voices of his generation is secure. Plus, the movie also proves definitively that Lupita Nyong'o is one of the greatest actors currently working.
The girl had a second child, a boy this time. They had to cut her open and take him from her belly.
The original Happy Death Day finds a college student getting murdered by a masked killer again and again, forced to relive her birthday until she can figure out how to break the time loop. 2019's sequel, Happy Death Day to You, moves the story just one day into the future and deeper into science fiction. The film is packed with quantum reactors, alternate timelines, and colliding doppelgangers twisting in all kinds of directions, including back into the original film. It's a bigger, better, wilder film than the original. Velvet Buzzsaw finds director Dan Gilroy turning a satirical lens on the pretentious culture of fine art. Jake Gyllenhaal and Rene Russo lead an ensemble cast of characters who come into contact with the works of a little-known deceased painter. The paintings themselves begin killing off critics and dealers one by one, putting a serious crimp in their lucrative dealings and torrid affairs. This supernatural, occasionally silly, blood-drenched commentary on the collision of art and commerce didn't quite garner the overwhelming praise that Nightcrawler earned. Nonetheless, plenty of critics found plenty to enjoy in this campy horror flick.
The best work is only enjoyed by a tiny few, and they buy what they're told, so why not join the party?
Fresh off Jordan Peele's 2017 horror hit Get Out, Allison Williams takes another dive into the genre here as Charlotte, a former musical prodigy who begins an affair with her school's current lead cellist, Elizabeth. While it's clear from the opening credits of The Perfection that Charlotte doesn't have the purest of intentions, the full extent of her motivation makes for one hell of a twisted ride. To say more would spoil the insane twists of the film, but trust us when we say that the film is not for the faint of heart. The film itself might not be perfect, but The Perfection definitely feels one of a kind. Greta is as much about emotional vulnerability as it is about the horrors of befriending random strangers in the New York City subway system. Chloe Grace Moretz plays Frances, a young woman new to the city who's dealing with her mother's recent death and is in need of a friend. Enter Greta, a seemingly kind older woman who's forgotten her purse on the subway and could also use a friend. The pair strike up a relationship, and it isn't nearly as innocent as it first appears to be. The wide-open spaces of the American frontier are often romanticized by classic westerns, but The Wind recognizes the horrific potential of all that emptiness. In the film, tough frontierswoman Lizzie is haunted by that emptiness, personified by the ever-present wind howling across the plains. Despite reassurances from her husband, Lizzie becomes increasingly convinced that some sort of demonic presence is haunting their homestead. Is there something supernatural out there, or is the horror of The Wind nothing more or less than loneliness itself? It's a question that will haunt anyone who goes along for this moody, atmospheric ride.
The Lord is my keeper. The Lord is a shade upon my right hand. The sun shall not smite me by day. Nor the moon will not let suffer thy foot to be moved. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Hole in the Ground spins a subtle story about a woman and her son moving to a village in the countryside to escape a troubled past. But there's something disturbing about their new home, namely, the enormous sinkhole in the nearby woods. The atmosphere and metaphors of The Hole in the Ground are far better experienced than described, but we'll just say that you won't be disappointed when you dive in to check them out for yourself. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.